It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm Sam Lesante and welcome to the Hazleton Area School District Report. We try to keep you up to date what's going on the Hazleton Area School District. A lot of great things happening, but once again, thank you for making this show the #1 talk show in Northeastern Pennsylvania. You know, we just got our recent poll numbers in that we do in May. That's sweeps month. And once again, we went up in numbers. I appreciate that very much. You know, we have a number of reports. We have the Schuylkill County report. We have the Luzerne County Community College report. We have the Mayor's report, Jeff Cassett, and of course we have the Hazleton Area School District report. Sam at ssptv.com for those questions. I have a lot of questions, and today we're going to bring in Bob Krizansky, who's the business manager, talking about some people think there's some wasteful spending going on in the district. We're going to address those things when Bob comes on. But right now, the main man himself, Dr. Brian Uplinger. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Congratulations on your graduation.
Thank you.
What was it, 16,850 kids, right?
Just about.
Just about.
Yeah, just about. Just shy.
871 graduates.
871 graduates.
Tell me how the graduation went.
It was beautiful. We have the ceremony out front of our high school. Very large stage, and about 3,500 chairs are put out for the students plus some of the family members. But sometimes there's standing room only, and this time it was standing room only. So we probably had about 6,000 people at the ceremony itself. Of course, weather doesn't cooperate when you're outside, so we had to move it to Saturday. And I understand, some people had, parties and things like that scheduled, but that's why we put in rain dates to, hopefully it does take off on Friday when it's originally scheduled, but again, Mother Nature didn't cooperate this year, and again, we apologize, but we thank everybody for their flexibility and understanding in needing to move the program a little bit.
It's interesting, when I taught at Hazleton High School and we had the graduations, you look at those young kids, and I say young kids, young adults, and you just wonder, what their thought and what they're going to go into, who's going to go into the trades, who's going to go into higher education, and you just want to welcome them into a world today that's open to them, don't you think?
Right, absolutely. We have kids going to many different colleges, some going into the military, just some going right into work, and some going into the trade. So we have a vast array of different directions that all of the kids go, and that's a good thing. That's what keeps the country running. So we have that diversity. We have the students going into, like I said, different programs and nursing, and like our daughter, she graduated this year, and she's 4 of 4, and I was very, very happy to be able to handle her diploma, which completes my quest in handing all of our kids their diploma. So it was a very, very proud daddy moment.
That was great. That was great. And speaking about education, we had Udicek, who was the president of LCC. I knew when they made him the president that he was just going to soar, because he's just a great guy.
He is.
And tuned into helping educate, and your involvement, the early college teaching program.
Right.
Okay. Now we're running that show now with him on with the people from the college, but give our viewers your perspective of this early college teaching program.
It's an incredible opportunity for students that want to go into teaching, that may be part of the Hazleton Area School District now. Juniors, sophomores can also look into it, but they have the opportunity to go to college, get a teaching degree. There's a track that they have to pursue, but they'll take some dual enrollment courses with us through LCC. Then they would go to LCC to obtain their associate degree, and then step on to the Commonwealth University to continue the bachelor's portion of that certification, whatever it would be, elementary, middle school, high school. It could be specialized in science, math, whatever. But that whole track takes place right here in Hazleton. Students don't have to leave Hazleton. It's very cheap, very reasonable. I know what mine was back in 1994 when I
Well,
graduated.
I think the whole thing was the 4 years is like $30-some thousand.
Less than $30,000. Yeah, to get a teaching degree.
And that's on including some of the grants that they get.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, students could go for free. So it's a fantastic opportunity for us, not only for the students, but for the district to continue that process here in Hazleton, but then take those teachers, we would bring them back to us again for student teaching, and then possibly hire them in the future.
You know, when you're looking at the need for teachers, okay, and the desire to be a teacher, you know, throughout, you know, I know when I taught, there was, you know, the curve, you know, who wanted to be a teacher then, who didn't want to be a teacher, you know. What do you think, you know, talking to young people today who are going into high school, you know, what incentive would you give them to become a teacher today?
Wow, there's so many. The rewards are endless. And some people, you're in a classroom full of students, 25, 30 students, depends, but you're molding their brain for the future. You're inspiring them. You're teaching them what they could possibly become in the future. So that part in and of itself is really rewarding, to know that you're a part of their future. You're teaching them their math facts, how to tie their shoes. But you're helping out that process. You're helping them mature. The possibility of coaching in the district, above and beyond the classroom, you're still teaching. There are so many different rewards you're certainly not going to get into education to become a billionaire, if you will, but the money is pretty good.
Yes, it is. Benefits are fantastic.
The benefits are incredible. The salary is very good, and the retirement is really good. So, that coupled with everything else is I probably wouldn't do anything else if I had to do it all over again. And I had the opportunity to go into either medicine or in my mind, I was going to either go into medicine or into education, and I chose education.
When you taught, what was your greatest reward in teaching?
Seeing those students when they get it, the aha moment, and knowing their eyes light up and they're like, oh, I get this now.
What grade did you teach?
I taught fourth grade.
Yeah. It's amazing, when I taught 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and at the Career Center, the juniors and seniors in distributive ed. But you could see the progress, in September when they start, and throughout the year. But when you just give them a little bit, the student, you can see their creativity come out.
Right.
And I used to love the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grades because their minds are wide open.
Yes,
you see that?
they definitely are. And having a lot of different hands-on experiences for them, not necessarily standing at the board and lecturing. Back when I taught, we still had chalkboards. We don't have what we have now.
Yeah, I know.
So,
yeah.
We've really advanced from then. But just again, going that aha moment, but the hands-on and the creativity certainly does come out with those moments.
It's a great opportunity. I mean, the fact that you go in and become a teacher for less than $30,000 or less, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Now, recently we were down at the college. There was another event going on there. What was that event about?
Another opportunity for the district, and we are fortunate enough to have our own career center, and we don't share it with anyone else like other districts do, just because of their size, and because of our size, we have our own. So, we're very fortunate to have that. So, this opportunity, in conjunction with Wilkes-Barre and RCTC, partnering with LCCC again in a technology academy. So again, early college. Students have the opportunity dual enrollment. They go to LCC for their technical career, their trade. So again, pulling the students possibly out early gives us the ability or the hope that there's some additional room that we can put children back into the Career Center once the seniors are pulled and want to go to that room.
And at one point in time, we talked about this. We got to do a show on the Career Center.
We do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So people, I mean, I know when I was there, but boy, it's
changed.
It's changed
Yeah,
considerably
it's changed.
back from 1967 and 68. But here again, you know, when at the Career Center, you saw the technical abilities that these young people have and the enthusiasm they have, you know, so it's just great. You know, coming up, Bob Krizansky, and I mentioned this to you, sometimes in the community, you know, as we are growing, I love constructive criticism. I think it's great when someone says, Sam, you know, I like your show, but I think, you know, do you ever try doing this? And I say, well, what do you think? You know, because nobody has a monopoly on ideas. But when you have an agenda sometimes, and you know that some people are just negative,
Right.
okay, and it's unfortunate, and all they do is try to find fault,
Right.
without looking at what the true concept was. And I was a little taken back when I got a flyer in the mail indicating that there was suggestion to me that was mismanagement and wasteful spending in the school district. Now, knowing that we're doing this show every month, and I get people coming in, I have had not one person tell me a negative about, they say, you know, it must be a tough job for Mr. Uplinger, et cetera, or sometimes, you know, Sam, I wish they could, you know, do this or whatever, and we discuss those things.
Sure.
But when someone makes an accusation, you know, and just to get elected, okay, that troubles me. It troubles me because I don't know what that person is going to do when he's on the board to keep on throwing spikes in there. If there's something wrong, then I think you can bring it up. That's why I asked you to bring Bob Krizansky on, because I want to talk about the budget. I want to talk about this so-called wasteful spending, because I know you and I know the administration and I know most of the people, and I can't see where we would be wasting a lot of money. So when we come back, my friends, Bob Krizansky, you know, it's your taxpayers' money. And when someone says, yeah, they're wasting money, they're doing this, okay, well, it's easy to say. But why is that person saying this to begin with? We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, my friends. This is the Hazleton Area School District Report. We do this every month, bringing you up to date what's happening in the school district. It's a major budget. Once again, sam@ssptv.com. Any comments you have, please email me. Welcome to the Sam Lesante Show, Bob Krizansky. Bob, you're the business manager, right?
Yes.
Here we have people pay taxes. It's called the school tax. And some people, you know that education is extremely important, because I always say if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. You know, because you want people who are fixing your cars knowing what they're doing. You want people that you go in medical know what they're doing. It's so important that you have the basic education. You know, I received a flyer in the mail during this election, mentioned about wasteful spending in the school district. Now, knowing what I know about the school district and knowing the school board that you have right now, which is great.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's a fantastic school board, and if you knew the inner workings, then you would know why the school board is good. All right. But that being said, let's talk about, you know, what your job consists of, and why would someone want to say that there's wasteful spending?
Well, obviously, you know, we control the finances of the district. I feel, you know, for the most part, in the last 10 years, Mr. Reba, who was my predecessor, has done an excellent job, was an excellent teacher of mine. You know, we built our fund balance up to $54 million, which is probably the highest in many, many years. And, you know, we're sometimes criticized, why isn't some of that fund balance given back to the taxpayers in that? So of that $54 million, you have about 37 million of it earmarked already for some capital projects, and I'll get into capital projects in a second. The remaining is just there for basically a rainy day. You have situations where self-insured, you can have a bad year where we can now go into that pot and take it and have it there. When you're talking a $250 million budget, 54 million is 20% of it. So, you know, you really would like to have that there for that reason. And when it gets to the tax situation, right now, we're in 3 counties, Luzerne, Schuylkill, and Carbon. The taxpayer pays for their bill the least amount in all 3 counties out of all the other school districts. And that's an attribute to our school board, our business office, our superintendent. Basically, the entire district does their part in getting that. And that's something I'm very proud to say, being the lowest.
You don't hear that sometimes.
You don't. We stress that at our budget meetings, and it just doesn't get out there. The other thing that we're very proud of, and Dr. Uplinger's been a big attest to this, was basically since he came here about in 2017, we've been borrowing $10 million a year to do ESCO projects. That's basically just updating our buildings. We now have 16 schools, of all which are basically state-of-the-art as far as your heating and ventilation, your cleanliness. The technology is off the charts. We continue to build schools. We're sometimes criticized that all our money is going towards our athletics, which, yes, we do have state-of-the-art facilities in our athletics, which we used our ESSER money for that, the COVID situation. It was a one-time cost. So we updated all that. But again, we are maintaining our schools. We're adding teachers. We're adding paraprofessionals every day. You look at our agendas, there's positions being added. And we're doing all of that with keeping the taxes as low as possible in each of the 3 counties. And that's something that goes without saying.
When you're looking at running a business, you look at inflation, you look at cost of sales, you look at all of that stuff. And here's where I think it's important to have educated people in their field knowing what they're doing. Because as a business manager, you're buying, you're pricing, and sometimes if fuel costs are up, it's going to reflect on your budgets. If fuel costs are down, it's certainly a benefit, okay? Knowing how to do that and what to do is important. And here again, I think it's important to have the people who know what they're doing, okay? Not necessarily a personality contest, all right? And that's, Bob, I've been saying for years. This is probably close to 7,000 shows I've done. I've seen people come on this show who are great. I've seen a lot of people who are 100% phonies. I've seen people who want to go and lie to my viewers, particularly seniors, okay, because they could tell a good joke or because they belong to a club, okay, but have no knowledge of what they're doing when they're controlling my money. And when someone said to me that there's wasteful, or I see there's wasteful spending in the district that I know, okay, being involved, is not true, I say, well, why would that person even put that in a letter and send it to somebody as to accusing you of when I say you, the district, of wasteful spending? That troubles me. Doesn't it trouble you?
Absolutely. Again, we work very hard. I have probably the best assistant in the world in Anthony LaManna. He's constantly looking into different avenues for us. We currently have $125 million in the bank. He's earning the top interest rate that's allowed by the state. Obviously, we can't invest in stocks and bonds, but we're allowed to invest in obviously guaranteed things. He's pulling in interest income for us that's allowing us to hire that additional teacher that Dr. Uplinger will come to me in the middle of the year. Bobby, this wasn't in the budget, but this class is oversized. Sure. So these unforeseen things, our earned income taxes are off the charts. People are saying, well, your tax base isn't building up because they're not building homes. That is very true. A business manager would like to see homes being built everywhere because that's money that we get basically for just purchasing of the homes. But the employees that are moving into the district we're gaining their earned income tax, and that continues to grow. It's a smaller percentage than you'd like to get for a purchase of a building of a new home, but again, that's money we're putting back. Another thing we're very proud of is our homestead exclusion, for the people that are aware of that. And that's what allows us to have the lowest tax bill per the 3 counties, is that this extra money we give it back to the taxpayers in the form of a homestead. And that is a credit off your tax bill. So everybody on their primary residence should have that homestead exclusion on there. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for rental properties or things like that, but your primary residence, that should be on there. And again, that's our way of giving back to the senior citizens and to the taxpayers in general.
You mentioned two things. Just recently, the last week or two, I won't say who it is, a person said to me, Sam, why are they going to spend all this money, looking to build schools and they're putting all this money in the athletics? That's all they're doing. They're concerned about athletics. And I'd love to say who it is just to give him a little shot, but he's a great guy, okay? But I said, well, what do you mean? So, are we wasting our money on athletics and not on education?
Right. So again, our facilities needed updating, as a lot of school districts will face over time. And again, if you remember, we received a nice sum of money for the COVID situation. It was called the ESSER funds. Well, that money that we had earmarked for our normal budget for the teachers that year, the ESSER money could only be used on certain things, and one of it was for the paying of our teachers for certain programs. So the money that I had set aside for the paying the teachers, we slid it to do some capital projects: baseball field, the softball field, the Maple Manor soccer field, all one-time expenses, so we didn't get ourselves into a cliff situation. And now we put turf on these fields. Our students have the best of the best. They're now able to compete with everybody else in the state. We don't have to wait till April 15th, April 20th to get on a baseball field now, because of where we live. So again, I look at it as it's for our children, and it's something that they deserve.
Where were the other capital projects you had?
So we did build, we built the Arts and Humanities School. Yeah. We are renting 3 or 4 spots out here at the mall for the cyber school. We also have renovated the former WLN building, which is our EI pre-K building. And am I missing any, sir?
No, those are the 3 additions.
Those are our main ones that we've done just in the last 2 or 3 years.
Some parking lots and things like that we've had to update.
Some of the grounds, and then the last thing, which is going to be a large donation from Mr. Miracle, will be a field house on campus, again, for our kids, for our phys ed classes, for various things in the community.
Looking at who, Brian, who decides, what area you should be addressing in capital projects? Is it the school board? Is it, coming from teachers? Is it coming from administrators? Who
It comes from really everyone. Yeah. So if we see a situation where, a building needs painted or things like that'll be brought to us. We'll take it to the board. Do we spend the money on this or what have you? And again, painting is a very small portion of what we need to do, but updating facilities, things like that, certainly goes through our school board after we figure out how we can pay for it. Where's it? What's it going to take to get the piece renovated, whatever we're doing. So, but obviously the ultimate decision comes to our board, and then they have to approve it or disapprove it.
Looking at the Laurel Mall, okay, some people still question, why are you up at the mall? And so far, tell us the results of what has been in terms of saving thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Saved a lot of money, thousands and thousands, like you said, of dollars. We didn't build a new building, a separate building, a standalone building. The spaces were available. We're leasing them currently right now. Obviously, we had to do some renovations to the spaces to allow for teachers and some spaces for students if they need to come and get tutoring or what have you, testing. But it does save us a number of dollars in.
I'm going to correct Dr. Uplinger. It actually has saved us millions. And the reason why I say that is you have 800 kids in the cyber school. Could you imagine if all those kids decided to go to a brick and mortar school?
I was just going to ask you, what do you think a new high school costs today?
Let's just say 9 figures.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. Well, Bob, I appreciate you coming on the show, and you've always been open to any question, and I think that's the good thing, My friends, we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. This is the monthly Hazleton Area School District Report, and I want to thank the school board for allowing us to have this. It was an opportunity for us to bring information to you like today. Where the school board and also the school board was accused of wasteful spending, which is completely nonsense. Let me tell you, my friends, when you look at the internal operations of what's happening, and of course we have Dr. Uplinger, and joining us today is the business manager, Bob Krizansky. So Bob, in closing, we don't have wasteful spending.
Absolutely not. Again, our numbers are there, prove it. Again, we invite people to our budget meetings, open to everything, our school board meetings, and everything we put is online basically, so it's at everyone's fingertips to see what we're doing on a daily, monthly basis.
It's an interesting job.
Absolutely.
It's a very interesting job. I could imagine that, just running the companies I had. Doc, anything in conclusion you'd like to say?
Just to reiterate what Mr. Krizansky said, people have to keep in mind we're very large. We have 13,700 students and growing, so we have to keep that in mind that every dollar that we spend is on those students. So any additional programs that we add, staff, anything additional is for the students. Doesn't go in my pocket, it doesn't go into Bob's pocket. It goes to the students. And it's unfortunate that property taxes are the way that school districts are funded. There has to be a different way to do it, but that's the only thing we have right now. So
that's right.
Until laws change, that's what we have.
We've been hearing that for years, But anyway, once again, thanks for coming on. We'll see you next month, my friends. Sam at ssptv.com. You have any questions, any comments, please, I'm always open for suggestions. But I'm going to say this, we have a strong administration, we have a great school, we have a lot of great teachers. We're very fortunate. When you look at the Hazleton Area School District and you compare it with other districts in the state of Pennsylvania, with all due respect to them, we stand out right up there. And we're very proud of them. We'll see you next time.